Hope you can hear me. Hope you're all staying home as much as possible and hope you are safe. So I'm Shweta. My graduation is from IIT Kharagpur. After that I've given civil services and I'm now in Indian Forest Service, currently in Nashik. I'm on training, range training. And today I want to talk about 3 topics. One, I want to tell a bit about the service and the training. Second, I want to tell about the preparation strategy that I followed. And 3, I want to take questions if there is still time, and we'll keep the discussion short. Yes. So firstly, I want to tell about the service. Indian Forest Service, as you know, it is one of the 3 All India services, and the other 2 are IAS and IPS. And the main mandate of Indian Forest Service is to follow the National Forest Policy, and that too in forest area. So we have about 23% forest area. So you can imagine a country like India, 23% of it is under Forest Department. And there the kind of mandate that we do is that it's like a hybrid of IAS and IPS things that are being done in forest areas. So why do I say hybrid of IAS and IPS? Because the administrative functions of Indian Forest Service, so that would be like developmental activities. So in forest area, the tribal people live, the forest dwellers live. So there are developmental activities, and for this, over 5 crore people are dependent on forests. So for this, you take out the funds, you be creative, you try to provide them income generation, livelihood activities, and then you set up joint forest management committees. You procure their forest produce and you market them. You go to them, you listen to them, and you provide them solutions. So these are all here you can get as creative as you want, and funds are not an issue. You can get funds from state, NGOs, center. You can even get from international NGOs, the funding that you get. It's like this is sky is the limit there. So this is one thing. Apart from that, you also do soil and water conservation, and you can do work in agriculture development, ecotourism, as in it's overall developmental activities for those people dependent on that. And second, I said it's also there is also policing work here. So it's actually interesting here because the policing work that you do is solve wildlife crimes. For example, there is poaching, illegal wildlife trafficking, and there is trespassing in reserve forest areas. For example, you might have heard of red sanders. That is the thing that is being mostly sent to East Asian countries. So in all these, you properly do the policing work like investigation work, or you lay the traps, you act like you go undercover, and then you catch them, you arrest them, you file this POR, we say the FIR kind of thing, you file a complaint. So all the things that a police officer does, there you do based on the law. There are separate laws for the Indian forest officers. So based on it, they do. So this part is actually interesting for engineers also because there is surveillance. For example, you can use drones, you can use high technology for like digitizing the boundaries or finding out where the vehicles are. You confiscate vehicles, you auction the illegally transported produce. So this way there is all policing work. And I can see that there are requests to be. I'll speak slowly. I am not very fluent in Hindi, so you have to bear with my English. So this is about that part. And in Indian Forest Service, this is a non-uniform service. It's a technical service. But the people under you, like range officers, they're all in police uniform, similar to khaki uniform, and they have all the stars. So it's a very disciplined unit where you control them. So as early as 2 years after your training, you get to manage the people that are disciplined, well formed. Initially, you kind of want to you like the salutes being given to you, but as you go into the service, you understand that actually working for those who are most vulnerable or most poor and dependent on the forest, that gives sense of joy in the service. So this kind of sense is gotten only in field services like the All India services. And for this, I believe this is like a best of both worlds of both services. And after this, you might have known about the empanelment. So empanelment as in, if somebody is in Indian Forest Service and then they want to move out of the forest department after a while, just so you get the diversity of it, there in state you can work in other departments also. For example, there are people, senior officers who are working in agriculture department, tourism department, and there are also people who, like for example, in Uttarakhand, a senior officer is special secretary to CMO. In Hyderabad also in CMO there is one IFS officer. And in central deputation also, you have a lot of people, as in over 50 people from Indian Forest Service, they are empaneled as joint secretaries. And this number is only second to IAS. Rest of the services have very little empanelment. And in fact, there are also international options. For example, one senior officer from 2003 batch, he's worked in Indian Embassy. Being in Forest Service, he worked there. And there are people who work in Defense Ministry, Home Ministry. In fact, currently the additional secretary of Ministry of Agriculture, she is also from IFS. And some people go to FAO, and they get absorbed also. So what I want to say is, there are options right from state lateral deputation to center to international level. So that way it's very diverse in its approach. And with respect to training, the second part of it, I can safely say that IFS training is the best there is in the country, and that is in one of the most beautiful places. In fact, if you Google FRA campus, you would really see that it's beautiful with all the greenery. It's huge campus. It's in fact one of the tourist spots in Dehradun. People pay money to come there, and then you get to live in on the campus for two years. And the training as such, it is very diverse. It contains several exercises, tours, classes, and touring. We do extensive touring. For example, the Bharat Darshan that you know of. So we travel for over 100 days. And if you see in my Instagram profile, there is a map where over 60 cities are being covered. So you go, you stay in tents in desert, you stay in 5-star hotels during the tours, and you go to Ladakh, the cold places, desert areas, south. It's in south where you go, Kanyakumari, those places. You do scuba diving in Andaman, you do paragliding in Himachal Pradesh, you do skydiving in Spain, which we did during our foreign tour. So this way it is very diverse. You will not believe how many places you get to see in just 1 year. I was surprised to see the map that I have been to these many places in person. So that way it's very fun. And other than that, we also have several attachments. Attachments as in, you are taught horse riding and rifle shooting and swimming in IMA. IMA as in Indian Military Academy. And you have wildlife crime module in NPA, National Police Academy, where IPS people are trained. And then you also have IM attachment, they teach you management. And you also have parliament attachment, where you meet president, vice president. You get those very famous photographs. So that way there is a lot of exercises, there are a lot of attachments. Other than that, you can also take a lot of initiatives in the academy. We took one initiative like plastic free IGNFA, and it was even the report was also released by our honorable cabinet minister. And we used to grow organic vegetables in our academy, and then we would send it to mess so that they would cook for us. So it's very diverse in terms of training, as in it's both from academy side and from your side. You'll get to improve your personality a lot. So that is about training. There is a video on YouTube. You can search for IFS training on IGNFA. There you will see how much fun we had during the training course. And this is about the service and training. The second part, which is probably important for you, is how to prepare my strategy for clearing IFS. So here I want to say, as you know, there are prelims, mains and interview. In prelims, I have given 4 prelim exams, and in 4 of them I cleared for IFS cutoff. As in, I used to get at least 20 marks over the civil services cutoff. So how did I do it? One thing was, first point, you have to guess. In prelims, there is nothing like you know the answer and then you mark it. You have to guess. And every time I used to attempt 85 questions at least. That is kind of important for you to be able to clear such high cutoffs. And if you have to put up with 85 plus questions, you can take it from me that unless paper is very easy, you will not know more than 40 questions. as in 40 questions, you cannot, beyond that you're not sure whether it's the right answer. So in those cases you have to guess. That is my first point. But how to improve your accuracy while you are guessing? So for that, the kind of things I did, first is the basic books that you read. For example, Polity, Lakshmikant that you do, Spectrum or old NCRTs for history that you do, Shankar IAS for environment. So these are the stock books which we already know. So these stock books where we have static syllabus that we do repeatedly. As in Lakshmikant, you have to read at least 3-4 times. You read once and then you go back, solve question papers on polity, and then you come back again, read Lakshmikant, find the answers, again go back, go to question papers, solve the mock test series, and then again come back. So this way, back and forth kind of thing that you have to do a lot. And the same with history also. I found that most of the questions from polity and history you can find in some way or other from these stock books. And after that, for the rest of the part, that is economy or science and technology, current affairs, these are all very dynamic, and recently UPSC has been giving more questions from these dynamic parts only. So for that, the thing that I found most important was to make online notes. I used to get a lot of questions where people used to ask me, how do you read newspapers, how much time you have to put into newspapers. I find that if you sit and read newspaper thoroughly and make notes, you will take 2 to 3 hours. Every day 2 to 3 hours just to read question paper and note down. So when will you revise it? So it's a lot of work, and you cannot do all the work because UPSC syllabus is vast. So what I found is, in the market there are a lot of people who are ready to do that work for you for free. As in, they would give daily analysis. You take Insights on India, Vision IAS, Civils Daily, or IAS Baba, Forum IAS. You pick any of these websites, you can see that they give daily news analysis. So what you do is, you take the analysis, as in you sit one day, probably every Sunday, and then in one day you have to be able to cover all the 7 days worth of current affairs. So when you cover it, and then you make online notes of it. I want to show you. For example, if you see, when I was writing it, so this in 2017 and 18, I used to take, there was Insights quizzes. They used to give 5 or 6 questions every day. And in this, I would make like this. It looks a lot, but it's just copy paste. I would probably do all of this in one day. So what I do is, on the left side, I just made the question and answer, or the quizzes that they used to give. And then I would highlight this on the right side. So once I highlight it, the next time I would see only these yellow portions, and then I know what the question is about. So you make all this from wherever possible. This is OneNote, by the way. That's Microsoft website. So you do all this, and then once you do this I used to do it for many. From Vision, there are some reports. There is IAS Baba, yearbook, everything. So this way, it's you reduce lot of work. And whenever you read multiple times, then you can immediately see key. You can delete most of the stuff and then leave only the important part. Once you do this every week, by the end of 3-4 months, in October you have the exam. So by the end of it, like until 1 month before the exam, you just go through this repeatedly. And then you take the mock test. Mock tests you can take either from Vision is going a lot these days, that, or Insights, wherever. Most of them are freely available. So you can take these mock tests, you answer them. Whatever questions that you don't get, again make a copy paste or take screenshots and then put it here, so that you have a list of questions where you went wrong. So this way, it's repeated iterations of all this. Read newspapers, get current analysis from various websites. You put it in online notes, you solve mock questions, and then do the cycle. So once you do this, ultimately at the end of 1 month, you have those important questions which you went wrong, and then you keep on revising. So this is one of the questions somebody asked, that I'm forgetting a lot of current affairs, how do I remember? So the key to remembering is to revise continuously. And once you do this, there is also Vision 365, that is anyway freely available. So these are like the necessary things. And the purpose of doing this is, once you are exposed to so many questions, then in exam you are able to guess better. UPSC people also know that you follow these questions. They will not give direct questions from these, but you will be able to guess better. Somebody asked me to repeat it. I think the video would be uploaded, so you can go back. Repetition would bore others. This session would be saved anyway, so you can probably go back. And for mains thing, mains syllabus is same as UPSC civil services also, but here there are two optionals. I'll not bore you with the details. You can always find it in the website notification. But in the optionals, I took agricultural engineering and forestry, and there is, apart from these two optionals, there is English and GS. So here I want to tell you, in GS, the space is shrinking these days. It's very little space. So one thing, just before, on the day of my exam, one day before my exam, I found it from one of my seniors who said that you just be strictly to the point. They give you a question, they say 10 marks, and you try to give briefly one line introduction and then give 10 points. Even if you don't get 10 points, you try to break one of the points into two and ultimately try to make it look like 10 points. And in each point, you have to find one keyword. Just one keyword, you underline it. So a question, short introduction, 10 bullet points, and underlining in each point, and then finally you give a conclusion. One conclusion, simple one line. If you follow this pattern for all the questions, I assure you, you'll get more than average in each question. Because it looks like studied, it looks like it's very comprehensive, and that you've covered at least 10 dimensions for each question. This is the one thing that helped me get very high marks that year in GS for me. So whatever you're preparing for civil services, you keep that. And here there will be less of analysis questions. So it's more about remembering and then finding it, putting it in points wise. This is for GS. And for English, its best thing is to go back to previous questions. Solve previous questions both from IFS English and also from the compulsory paper of civil services exam. I found in one of the years they directly took one essay from compulsory English paper and asked in IFS English paper. Their marks would not be counted, but IFS English paper marks would be counted. So that's how you have to manage English paper. Just practice once or twice if you are good with English, otherwise you might have to put in more effort. And here in optionals, I want to say, in 2017 exam when I gave, I had just 1 month in between civil service mains and IFS mains. So in 1 month, I had to finish both forestry and agricultural engineering. I don't have background in either. So what I did there was I took previous year's question papers, 15 years question papers. I took a printout of them and then I put it in a book. So I put it in book and then I used to put the book on my table always. So I would first start with solving these questions like the numericals or previous year's questions. So my entire preparation now got a direction because I'm very close to the questions that are already asked or likely to be asked by UPSC. So once I did this, I got some confidence that at least I know half the syllabus that UPSC is likely going to ask. Similar thing, it worked very well for me, but nowadays because of increasing awareness, more difficult questions are being asked. But even then, this is the basic that you have to do for optional. And this for agricultural engineering, and in forestry there is one book, Manikandan, that is very popular. You will find this strategy on any of the IFS websites. Beingifs.in is one website. It is created by IFS officers and you will find a lot of optional based strategies on it, and I request you all to check it. Apart from this, I forgot to mention one official sources: mygov.in, AR All India Radio News Analysis, Rajya Sabha News Analysis, and Ministry of External Affairs, MEA. There is an app. So if you want to follow government sources just for basis of it, this along with PIB. These are the ones that you can follow probably after your dinner when you are just relaxing. You go through it, and then once you see this again in the newspapers, you'll be able to reconnect better. So this is about prelims and mains. And now interview is same as civil service interview. That is quite a bit far for interview right now. I want to take questions now. If somebody was telling in between that I have not listened to their question, please ask now. which side should we take, science, arts or commerce? I'm sorry if you know about IFS notification, this is only for science graduates, science and engineering graduates. Commerce, arts, medicine people are not allowed to give the exam. Websites that you said, okay, I'll repeat. mygov.in, mygov.in, All India Radio and Rajya Sabha News Analysis. MEA app, Ministry of External Affairs application, you can download it on your mobile, and PAB is anyways there. These are the original sources. They will not give you in the form that you do for exam, but what you do is you just read them, go back. You just read them, go back to your websites like Insights, Vision, Daily, Civils Daily, IS Baba, etc. And then you can. And there are, for example, coaching institutes. I'm not sure. There is Evolution in Delhi. So that was the only coaching institute that used to give separately for IFS when we were there. I left the preparation 2018. There may be a couple of them more. In South, for people in South, Shankar IAS, lot of people from Shankar IAS, they used to come to, many of them are my batchmates. So in South, that is one option. I'm not very sure if there are newer ones. Mapping is not relevant to IFS exam. Essay paper, it's very simple essay. Don't write the analysis kind of essays that you write for UPSC, that you write for civil services exam. Because here it is very straightforward. They just look for your English. Because essay is given in English paper. They look for grammar mistakes, sentence construction, and you just follow the same method of writing keywords, underlining keywords, and keeping the language very simple. For geology optional, the strategy is there on beingifs.in. beingifs.in. I'll share the link probably after it. How to revise all the things in the last month. That is what I told. You make online notes, highlight them, and at the last just scroll through it. When you see the highlighted word, you will be able to remember what you wrote then. Repeated revision is the only way to remember. My optional subject is agricultural engineering and forestry. These were popular. Geology, agricultural engineering, forestry, plus if you are engineer, any core engineering subject. These are the popular choices. Should we interact with Insight because everything that you tell are there in Insights? Whatever you get free from any website, I'm not endorsing any website, I did not pay money from them. So it is what I used back then, so I'm telling you. And if you find Insights good, yes, you can follow. I followed them for daily current affairs or quizzes. Can we crack exam without coaching? Yes, you can, because I did not have any coaching for IFS exam. And in fact, there was only 1 month I did self-study. Going by previous question papers is must. Which state I am from? Andhra Pradesh. Could you please tell some tips to learn history? Old NCERT papers, old NCERT history. That book, you'll find it in market, the Xerox copy. That and Spectrum, modern Bipin Chandra Spectrum, the small book. You repeatedly revise it and solve questions. Separate history questions, solve them. In fact, my friend Abhijit Gupta, he said that even new NCERTs from 6th to 12th, they are lifting questions directly from new NCERTs. So that is also important. Just NCERTs are not long, so you can finish them off. Grammatical, is it important? Grammatical things are important in English paper, in English paper only. Other than that, they are not very particular about your grammar. In fact, I suggest you keep the grammar and all very less. Don't use flowery language, just keyword and with some filler points and underline. That's it. Answer writing, I already mentioned. Just very small introduction. As many if it's for 10 marks, give 10 points. If it's for 5 marks, at least give 5 points. So that way, and then give short conclusion, underline. For agricultural option, agriculture, I don't know, my option is not agriculture, but you can find it on that website. On what basis should we choose optional? If you don't have any civil engineering background, then I suggest you go with the popular ones. Just go through the proper strategies on the website, see the syllabus ones. If you're fine with it, then just go. For commerce students, which optional can we take? I'm not very sure if commerce students are allowed to write IFS exam. I mean, unless you have some other degree, you have to see the notification once. How to prepare environment for prelims? Yes, environment for prelims, as I said, Shankar IAS, that book you might have seen in market. So that you have to see, repeatedly read, and that plus current affairs. So Vision 365 environment that you get freely on website that you download, or any other websites that are giving any concise material of environment. But stick to one or two, repeatedly go through them and solve mock tests. But multiple revision of Shankar IAS was very helpful to me because it was with good collation of all the points everywhere, all the points put at one place. Your graduate in chemistry, yes, also pursuing LLB. I may not be able to tell you, it's up to your, but law I heard is a little difficult to score. Law is not there for IFS, sorry, you have to take chemistry only. What about GS strategy? GS strategy is same as civil services, and if you ask me the strategy, then it would be like making online notes, going through it repeatedly, revising, and then doing mock test papers. Ma'am, which app you suggested? The app is MEA, Ministry of External Affairs app. So that is for only foreign affairs. In that you will find diplomacy corner where you get, but that's not very important. I just said to quote government sources, you'll find most of it in Hindu, these newspapers and daily analysis. Important magazines, don't follow magazines because a magazine takes a lot of time to get published. So you're not being very dynamic. Newspaper gives every day, magazines don't give every day. So it takes a lot of static part is there in magazines, don't follow. I mean, I'm not dissuading you, sorry. I did not follow, so that's what I wanted to say. Tips for answer writing, keep it very crisp, give maximum dimensions, at least as many marks as there should be dimensions, underline keywords. There is limited space, so don't be creative there. Just put maximum information. Books for agricultural engineering, it's a long list of books I will share with you after this because others may not find this useful, but it's already also there in beingifs.in, the website. Which test series is best? I cannot give you one test series. Just see the ones that are usually available in the market. If you want to try questions for IFS optional, then the best would be previous year question papers. You answer them the best way you can, have notes for it and then revise it. Test series for IFS, I did not use any because there were not many, but maybe evolution is giving some now, I don't know. Can pure science? Yes, you can apply. How could you manage consistency in preparation, ma'am? Consistency in preparation, I have gone through very difficult times, so I understand that it is very difficult to keep up with that. I started my preparation, then my mother was diagnosed with cancer, so I had to leave preparation, go back, and there was some 6 to 8 months of treatment which used to be very difficult for our family, and then I would again give prelims, and then I would not clear that year, and then again my mom would relapse. So I had been through extremely difficult things. It is difficult to keep up motivation always, but maybe when you really want to do something, after 2-3 days of slow period, you'll get back. Mathematics and electrical engineering, which option is good for UPSC? Mathematics and electrical engineering, I'm not the right person to say. I know many of my friends have cleared with mathematics. Electrical engineering, I have not known many. But you have to see the question papers and decide for yourself. I have not taken either optional, so I'm not the best person. How to cover history and which book is best? Like I said, Spectrum and mock series. News channel, don't follow the regular ones because they take up a lot of sensationalization of news. No, I suggest follow Rajya Sabha news analysis, that is the best there is, and AR, All India Radio news analysis at 9 o'clock, I think 9 p.m. they give that, so that you can listen to. Other than that, don't follow news channel, there are a lot of time waste. For preparation I'm saying. Can anyone apply for both IAS? Yes, you can apply for both IAS and IFS together. You have to tick both of them in your while you are filling your first registration, prelims registration. I insist you all fill both of them. Which is best option for commerce students? Commerce students, if you don't find any optional particularly favorable, I suggest you go with the regular popular ones like the geology, forestry, or mathematics, or sorry, not maths for you. Geology, forestry, agricultural engineering, these are the popular ones right now. So you can choose any two of those. Book for Indian economy, economic survey is must. Budget you have to go through, you'll find the gist of it also. And for Indian economy, other than that, it's largely current affairs based. So the current affairs just that you get from Vision, either that or Insights module that they make on economy, that you follow any of these, and the current affairs you make online notes again, like I said, and then you should be able to cover most of it. Other than that, there is one macroeconomics book in NCERT that will give you basic idea. That is necessary but not sufficient. How to read online newspaper? Online newspaper is difficult to surf. I suggest you read offline, but you still want to go for online. Then there are apps, many apps that you can install, Hindu app or Times app. You install, you select your own favorite sectors domains, and then you can take screenshots or copy paste onto your online notes. Ma'am, could you please tell about important magazines to follow? Like I said, magazines I didn't used to follow magazines. I am not very big fan of it. So I'm not the best person to answer. Poonam Dalal recommended for ancient and medieval. I did not follow it, but I found NCERT Spectrum to be the best. And for ancient, Nitin Singhania was back then we used to follow Nitin Singhania. There is also a book now. So you can find for culture. And for ancient, there is one old NCERT book that is as exhaustive as UPSC needs. Medieval also, but not many questions were being asked for medieval until 18. So it less ROI in terms of medieval there. Stick to one source and follow. Diversifying sources is not the best thing. Repeatedly revising the same source is more important. Best optional subject for agriculture. Take agriculture. What else do you need? Take agriculture and something else because you can't take forestry with it. How to make notes for prelims and mains. I have shown how I used to make online notes. So you can, as the video is being recorded, you can go back and check once, please. Notes for prelims and mains, yes. For mains, I used to do it on hard copy only. I used to solve previous year question papers. And I also used to make online notes. I'll share the screenshot again in this. Which newspaper to read? Hindu. Or you can read Hindu, but don't make notes out of the newspaper. It will take time. Read newspaper fastly, maybe in half an hour, 45 minutes. Just the important ones, unless you are a beginner. So beginner takes a lot of time, but otherwise you just finish off in half an hour, 45 minutes, and then go through these online websites like I told you. Share strategies for Indian polity. Lakshmikant, Indian polity, repeated revising. 3 to 4 times you have to go through the book. In fact, I used to make short notes from Lakshmikant. For example, the constitutional bodies and statutory bodies. So I would make chart like UPSC, State Election Commission, NHRC. So I would make a chart on what is the minimum age to enter, whether they are quasi-judicial or not, or what is the term of the people, whether the expenditure for them is charged or made. So I used to make summary of those chapters and then repeatedly revise it. So whatever be your strategy, you have to know everything there is in polity book, that Lakshmikant book. I hope you asked for prelims. For prelims, this is necessary. This is enough also. If they are asking something out of this, leave it. Nobody would be able to answer. No, I did not somebody asked if I intentionally prepared for IFS. No, I did not, because of the 4 times I gave. First 2 times I cleared forest service, but I did not give mains. I used to give just the GS and English paper and then would leave the optionals because I was preparing for civil services that time and we used to have very little time. So I did not know it. That is why I am telling you that the benefits in the service, it is not very well known. But if you come here, you will definitely enjoy the field service part of it. Please share my daily routine. On good days, I would start after my breakfast. I'll study at early morning. I used to do this high thinking or high memory power needing kind of things. So as a new things, I would read in the morning, and I would do it until afternoon, and I would take small nap to refresh myself. And then in the evening, I used to do some mock tests, solving the mock tests in 2 hours at a stretch. I would solve, I would evaluate then itself, or I would write some mains exam, as in mock mains exam for 3 hours. I would evaluate, I try to evaluate then. And until evening, I would take time off, spend time with friends. And at night, I would again come back and revise what I did in the morning or prepare a bit for next day. So this is on a good day. On a bad day, I would not do anything for the whole day. That is also possible. So like we said, we can't control our mood. My optional subject, as I told, it's agricultural engineering and forestry. Bio student, if you're eligible to give IFS, you can choose botany or zoology maybe, and forestry. Can you apply for both IAS and IFS same time? Yes, you can apply for both of them. You should actually apply for both of them so that you diversify your options. Suggest you for geology. Geology is a very popular option. Just go on beingifs.in. On the website, you will find strategy for geology. I did not take geology, so I cannot tell much. Please tell your book name. Which book name? I did not get you, sorry. How to prepare UPSC after 10th too, because you want to go for IPS. You are in 10th class. Prepare well for 11th and 12th. If you already decide on IAS or IPS, only civil services, then probably you are cutting out on all other options of career that can wait for you. 10th is read newspapers, that's what I tell you, so that you are aware of what is going on. After 12th, during your graduation, if you still want to do, then probably you can think again. You're a bio student, but I want to choose another subject. Yes, I already told you, zoology, botany are usually taken. CSAT. Okay, CSAT. In CSAT, now it's only 1/3 of it. 1/3 qualifying marks are needed. I used to be good with math, and being from IIT, I was good with math, and I was also fine with English. So I did not prepare much, but if somebody is not very comfortable with it, I think for 1 to 2 weeks before the exam, you can give 4 to 5 mock test series on CSAT. So you have to know what questions to leave and what questions to choose, because you have limited time, and do the English part first, because you have more option of qualifying there, qualifying there than in the mathematics optional, because some questions were really difficult, and if you sit on with just one question, you might lose time. So the trick is to do 4 to 5 mock tests before the exam, and during the exam not to spend too much time on one question, just moving on, attempting as many questions as you can. Clearing IFS, should we only work for forest service, or can we serve India in different ways? No, once you come into IFS, you have options to serve in many other departments. Like I told you, in Ministry of Agriculture, additional secretary is from IFS. So there is a lot of ways you can go and serve the country. What to be read in Hindu? All the important stuff. Leave all the movies, sports, maybe all the relevant stuff. And if you are confused about what to read in Hindu, best thing is just flip the papers, go to online news analysis, and there they will give you what is relevant. Like I told you, the websites who give daily, the daily news analysis that they give only relevant things. Just read them, make a note out of it. NCRTs are necessary for preparation, but they are not sufficient. Next question, is geography important for prelims? Yes, geography is very important for prelims. And apart from the NCRTs that you do, you have to go for GC Leong, that you might already know. And if somebody is even more interested and want to find another book, Physical geography, Savindra Singh is one reference book. It's not a textbook, it's reference book. So you just go through it, and then whatever things that you find in mock test series which you are unable to answer, you try to find answers in that book. Again tell you, that is not a textbook, you don't have to read cover to cover. How to cover current affairs, that I have already told in previous video. If you can check it back once it is uploaded. How to improve my English, one best way is to read Hindu newspaper, and then you can solve previous year question papers. They are of simple English that you will be able, once you are confident in solving them, you can once you keep on solving the previous year's question papers repeatedly, you'll be able to see the difference. Is money important while doing preparation? If you're sitting at home and then are using online resources at best, then you don't need lot of money for preparation. Which college is best college for UPSC preparation? I have not started my UPSC preparation during college, so I don't think there is a college set for UPSC. Ma'am, studying BSc Honours Agriculture, I'm willing to become IAS. How can I prepare for that? This is related to Forest Service topic. Otherwise, you can find a lot of topper strategies on many websites actually. If you just Google for topper strategies, you will be able to find. But if you have agriculture, I suggest you apply for IFS also while you're filling your prelims registration. Is mapping important? Mapping is not important for IFS. Books for English. Like I told you, I was comfortable in English, so I did not follow. But any basic book that you can find in market should do. But I don't suggest going for books for English separately, because what UPSC is looking for is simple grammar, simple sentences, coherent sentences. So that is fine. Just going through previous papers of both civil service and IFS papers, that is enough. She is not reading my message. I don't know what this message is. I'm sorry. Please repeat the website name. Being IFS. BEING IFS.in. I'll type somewhere also. For basics of GS3, which book should I start with? Macroeconomy, that is NCERT macroeconomy, you can follow. But that is just the basics of it. Most of the economy thing that they ask is from current affairs. How to improve my English? I already spoke about it. I'm talking about Indian Forest Service. I'm bio student. I already replied. Suggest some books for English preparation. I already mentioned. Repeat website name for written notes. There is no website for written notes. There are strategies in which there are also some written notes from the previous IFS offices. So that is beingifs.in. Some tips for beginners like you. Okay, for beginners, I suggest you go through newspapers, NCERTs first. That is necessary part of it. My Instagram ID you can find on shwetabuddu.ifs. You should be able to find in the status also. Books for anthropology. Anthropology is not in IFS. I'll take last 5 questions as we are running out of time. You can prepare without coaching, definitely. I have done it without coaching. How to make newspaper notes? I showed you particularly how I used to make. Please go back in the video. List of all the books that is there in the website Being IFS. Is coaching necessary to crack? No. Physics is important or not in IFS? Yes, there is physics optional subject in IFS. If you have it, go for it. Which test series I referred for prelims? I used to go for Insights, Forum IAS, Vision test series. Yes. And 2 or 3 from other test series also. I used to do about 30-40 test series before the exam. How many months of current affairs? From the last mains. Daily, how many hours we should read? That is different for different people. 5 to 6 hours is must. There are people who read for 16 hours also, but I don't think they can do it for days together. So somewhere in between would be nice. How to concentrate for 10 to 12 hours? Don't think about 10 to 12 hours concentration. Just focus on how to concentrate on the stuff that you're reading then. If you cannot concentrate, leave for the day, start the next day afresh. Books list, again I told you it's on the website. It's already shared there. Anthropology, this is not there in IFS, sorry, I cannot tell that. What is the difference between IFS and IAS? In India, 23% land is under forest department, so IFS people work in that. And for the rest of the area, IAS people work. So it's similar work mandate, just that the areas are different. You can take botany optional, yes. Are you doing full-time preparation or part-time? No, I'm not doing any preparation because I'm already in the service. I have finished my training. I'm from 2018 batch. So, yes. Physical strength is important in forest service. No, there is walking test for 25 kilometers. You'll be given 4 hours and then 25 kilometers you can walk. For girls, it's 14 kilometers. So it's not very difficult. Most of our batchmates, all of our batchmates could do. How many hours I used to read? Like I told you, on good days it would be 10 hours. On bad days it would be 0. Best book for economics. See, there is nothing like economics in UPSC. It is only economy. And for economy, it is economic survey, budget, macroeconomics NCRT and current affairs. Okay, I think the questions are now being repeated only. I will wind up with this. I'm sorry if I have missed any questions. I think there are many of them. I couldn't scroll up. Maybe we can do it again if you have any specific questions. Thank you very much. Good night.